So, he got me the interview, but I had to go in there. So when we talk about progress, how was I able to translate what I had learned from my hands-on experience into an interview? So that was my first big test, right? Because now I'm interviewing with somebody other than him. Because doing mock interviews and stuff like that. Congratulations, Jay, you get the job. Okay, I've measured progress because I've gone from certification training, hands-on stuff, to like now I'm about to be in a real position, right? And I think in technology, you measure the easiest way to measure whether you're on the right track or not is by taking advantage of what you're doing in the role.
Hmm.
And from a technology perspective, especially at that time, something called VMware was coming out. For those that may not know what VMware is, I was dealing with virtualization before it was cool. And it was one of those things where it's like, hey, put yourself in a position to touch everything, even when it's not necessarily in your particular role. You don't have to silo yourself, especially if there are people that are willing to allow you to learn. I was in infrastructure, so that's like Active Directory, Microsoft stuff. Exchange, for those that know what that is, it's a mail system from Microsoft. Like, that's what I was working in. But I worked with guys in the networking team that allowed me to come down into the data center and help them run wire and like run cable. You know, I could rack and stack SANs and NASs and things like that with folks. So working with the storage team with VMware, like all of these different things, I took advantage. So when that contract, because it was a contract job, I was contracted through a subcontractor. When that job was coming into an end, I was able to kind of take a step back and say, hey, Jay, what have we learned? And I'm able to bolster my resume, not with fluff, but with stuff that I actually did. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you're able to do that, if you're able to sit back at your job now, or if you're thinking about leaving, and say, what have I learned? And you've got a nice little list, that means you've maximized the position, right? And that's how you measure growth. Moreover than a promotion or anything like that. Because to be honest with you, most companies these days, the loyalty for employees is gone,
Right.
right? Everybody's trying to do more with less, especially in the times with AI and things of that nature that we live in now. So you're only as good as the skills that you have. And to be able to sit back and really check in with yourself to say, hey, where am I now? That's important. So
So many gems. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I think to your point of like a lot of times we get too far. So I'm like, like, hey, we're here right now. Let's take advantage of what we could do here. I
yeah,
think, obviously managing, your current day to day, but also too, I think to your point, you have to have some time to be strategic and intentional with your time. Right? It goes back to your vision. Like, where do I want to go? Okay, like what can I take? What can I do here on top of what I'm doing now that gets me closer to my goal? And then figure out how can I work with management and leadership to find a win-win solution. Right? It's like, hey, I want to learn more about this. I see a problem here. I would love to, on top of what I'm doing, maybe find time to do this. Like to where
mhm,
it's like you've de-risked the risk for them, where it's like you're not stopping what you're supposed to do, but you're also trying to add more value and you're getting the skills. So it's really a win-win. Because even if you don't get that promotion, Jay or Adi, whoever the individual is, you now have more skills that you can go demand something better.
absolutely, absolutely. And in this industry, you're, man, in IT, if you're staying current, the world is really the world is yours, honestly. Like, you can literally pick where you want to go. Even in times like this, if your skills are up to date, you're not hurting in the job market from a technology perspective. If your skills are current, you know?
Absolutely, man. I also wanted to get your thoughts on. I think there's this great debate that always happens, and I think it's prominent in tech now too. The generalist versus specialist approach. I think, like, to your point with skills, right? Like, for some folks, they've just maybe gone through their career so far, like, they've just done a lot of different things at a lot of different places. Whereas other people are like, hey, I've done these three things and I'm really damn good at it. I've done
Yeah.
this for X number of years.
Yeah.
So, if you were to talk to, let's say, 21 or 22-year-old Jay, or, folks who are coming into this workforce during the AI boom where, companies are trying to do more versus less, more with less, how do you think you would position yourself or recommend folks to position themselves, to thrive? It's not about surviving. We want to thrive, right? Um, in our careers.
Man, that's such a great question. I think that the tide is shifting back now, but there has to be balance
Right.
both these days.
Right.
When I was coming up, it was definitely the expert. Things favored having an expertise, right? Maybe your expertise was Microsoft infrastructure or Linux or whatever, whatever on-premises infrastructure you had at the time. Maybe it was storage, maybe it was networking, whatever it was, you had something, right?
Right.
As we've moved into this cloud-centric type of environment that we're in now, the industry favors the person that is agile, the person that
Mm,
has breadth, right? So you don't necessarily need to go have like deep understanding in one of those technologies. As
right.
long as you know it enough, right? You can make the way. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was coming up, man, you were the man if you knew how to subnet, if you knew how to do, you know, uh, uh, cider notation, you know, if you knew how to run commands on a router or switch, like if you were the networking guru if you could do
Right.
things like that, right? Now in the cloud, it's just a couple button clicks.
Yep.
Everything's done for you. All you got to do is click buttons and know how to spell subnet mask, and you're good, right?
Yeah.
So, so as we move into AI now, though, I think that we're kind of coming back to a need to understand AI at a deeper level. So, in some industries, like especially technology, especially for the generalists, it's going to be important that they become some level of an expert in AI just to stay relevant because AI is going to be able to do so many things that a generalist would otherwise be doing if they weren't replaced by AI. So I think there's a need for both. And I tell people this, go back and look at history. Like as a cloud architect today, or even a great, even better than that, a security person, a person in security, right? Person that does with intrusion detection systems, things like that. The worst thing a security person can do for themselves is not understand the technology that they're protecting.
Right.